Hello everyone, welcome back to Freelance Friday. My name is LJ and today we're going to be talking about what the heck a social media manager actually even does. This video is obviously aimed towards freelance social media managers because that's the whole purpose of this series. But if you are looking to become a social media manager like in the corporate world, work a 9 to 5, that kind of thing, this might also be helpful for you too, so stick around. So number one, the first thing that a freelance social media manager does is consult and work on the social media strategy with the client. So what I do when I have a prospective client is I have a Typeform sheet that I have typed up and ready to go for prospects, and I'll email that over to them, ask them to fill it out, and pretty much what the Typeform asks for is links to all of their existing social media profiles, kind of like their goals, what they want to do with social. Do they want to increase sales, which is usually number one, but beyond that, do they want to, increase brand awareness? Do they want to increase brand awareness in a specific area or a specific market, a specific demographic, and other things like budget and, any other ideas, comments, questions, that kind of thing. Once I have that information, I take a few days to go through and do a full audit for them. So I'll look through all of their social profiles, kind of identify what some big opportunities are for them, what some things are that they're doing really well that I'd like to continue, and come up with a roadmap for them. And then once we decide that, yes, we want to work together, this sounds good, we'll together work on a full-fledged strategy based on the roadmap that I provided them. Another thing that's important to look at when you're coming up with a strategy and you're consulting with a client is make sure to take a look at what some of their competitors are doing in the space. I'm not saying copy what their competitors are doing, but sometimes you'll want to see what they're doing to not do it, if they're doing something wrong, or just to kind of get a gauge for what other people in the industry are doing. You'll also want to look at what some of the key influencers in that industry are doing. So most of my clients are small beauty brands, individuals, small fashion brands, lifestyle brands, luxury brands. And so there are definitely influencers in those spaces. So I like to look at what the influencers are paying attention to see if there's any, platforms that we're missing out on, any opportunities that we're missing out on, any social media trends that we should be participating in, that kind of thing. So that leads me to the next point, which is account setup. So a lot of times, like I said, with beauty, fashion, lifestyle, luxury, most of those influencers right now are on Instagram, as I'm sure you can imagine. And a lot of small businesses and brands actually aren't on Instagram. I think more and more I'm seeing clients that are on it, which is nice. But yeah, a lot of people come to me and they don't have an Instagram. They've kind of been putting all of their eggs in the Facebook basket or Twitter or whatever, which is great. But a lot of times I do recommend that they jump on another platform. Now, I'm not saying that you should tell every client that they should be on every single platform, because that's like absolutely not right. You should definitely be encouraging your clients to be on the platforms that are right for them. So, Instagram doesn't make sense for a law firm. Like, I just don't ever see that making sense ever. And then vice versa. Some companies are just so young and so niche down that like other platforms, like more traditional platforms like Facebook, doesn't really make sense. Now, I will say I pretty much recommend every client has a Facebook page, if for no other reason than just searchability, and Facebook's kind of like the yellow pages of yesterday, But I digress. If I think that they should be on another platform and we decide that's a good option, a good move, it's feasible, it's realistic for everyone involved, then I go ahead and get them set up with one. That obviously involves a little bit of copywriting, coming up with the information in the bio, and coming up with the profile picture, coming up with sort of a launch plan. So using Instagram again as an example, I wouldn't want to just say, okay, just start an Instagram and post like a random picture today. We would want to have like a good bank of images that we can start with, and post those kind of all at once or in batches, so we have like some content to get started. It might include identifying an ad budget to get started with. Again, like if you're starting from zero, it might be a good idea to just throw a $50 page likes budget behind a Facebook page or something like that. That's up to you to decide. You're the expert, but those are all things that you have to consider with a account setup. plan. With that said, you know, Facebook is probably the most complex platform to start with. Facebook and LinkedIn, they're the most detail heavy. There's a lot of different layouts you can choose from for Facebook, that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind when you're like pricing this, when you're setting aside time in your schedule, that, you know, if they don't have a Facebook page, that's going to take a little bit of time. That might be a different cost for you depending. Next point is account management, and this is probably like what most people think of when they think of a social media manager, is like a social media account manager. So that involves actually scheduling the posts, planning the posts, optimizing the post, you know, finding images for the post, you know, posting videos, re-sharing, retweeting, liking, responding to comments, customer concerns, all of that stuff. So that's what account management is in a nutshell. So I always recommend, I mean, if you have a business, if you're a freelancer, you should definitely have some kind of social media management tool that you use, especially if you're managing multiple clients, which, you know, most of us do, or at least that's a goal that we will. So there's a few different tools out there. A lot of them are very affordable for small businesses. So I'll briefly go over a couple of them that I have used, do use, but I will do a video if you guys are interested in my favorite tools for social media managers or for freelancers in general, if that's something you're interested in, because I could talk about tools all day long. One tool that I actually learned how to schedule social media posts on was Hootsuite. I used that way back in the day, and I still use it today, but I really don't use it to schedule posts. I use it to listen. So the cool thing about Hootsuite is that you can add different streams to your dashboard. So let's just say, use this really bad example of hashtag beauty. If I want to follow the beauty hashtag, which I know is very broad, like I said, it's a bad example, but you know, if I have a beauty company that is a client and they want to follow the beauty hashtag, I can see everything that's going on in that space by adding it as a stream in my dashboard. And from there, I can go ahead and like things, retweet things, reply to things, you know, engage with influencers, potential clients, customers, that kind of thing. So that's really how I use Hootsuite. I really don't use it for anything more. I just like the view of it, and it's a nice way to listen in, but you can schedule on there, you can pull reports on there, there's a lot that you can do with it. The tool that I personally use to schedule is Buffer, and this is a really, really user-friendly kind of basic entry-level scheduling tool. It's so easy, and that's why I've been using it for years. You can just queue up posts one after another. It automatically pulls in an image for you, which is nice. It automatically gives you short links. It's just really, really user-friendly and easy to use. It's also really affordable. There's a free plan, which is amazing. I used to use a free plan for my own personal accounts for years and years. And then there's an awesome plan, which I think is $10 a month. And then I think the plan that I pay for is like $50 a month. So it's not too bad when you think about, you know, your profits and all of that stuff, your business expenses and all that good stuff. And then one tool that I am testing out right now is SocialPilot. And I'm really just in the entry stages of testing it out, so I don't have like a full analysis of it for you guys, but like I said, I plan to do a video on tools in the future. But this is really nice because it's kind of similar to, you know, you can schedule things, you can listen in, but one of the main reasons that I chose it was for reporting purposes, which I'll touch on later, and also because I can add my team members. So I can add my assistant, I can add other people who are helping me with campaigns, that kind of thing. And they can get in through a separate account where I don't have to share my own account password, because that's a little, you know, complicated and sketchy and all that stuff. And then I can also separate my clients, so I can go into different dashboards for different clients as opposed to having everything just like listed out. So it's really cool. It seems really cool. It's really affordable, but I don't have a full like review on it quite yet. In addition to scheduling posts, which is a job in itself and takes a lot of research, takes a lot of time, then you also will need to engage and respond. So I always ask my clients for kind of like a customer service 101, like what are some common questions that you get? What are some, what answers do you want me to provide people? What links do you want me to provide people? Is there like a number? Like all of those details you want to have documented somewhere so you can easily reference. So if people have questions like, you know, my mascara broke, or, you know, I didn't get my shipment, what do I do? Because I'm not a shipment person, so I need a response to provide them. Even if it's just something as simple as send an email to this email address, all of those details need to be worked out because customer service is really important. It's something that I think is becoming more and more important. Social media used to be more marketing focused, I think, but now it's really a customer service tool and a marketing tool. So unfortunately for us, that means that we become like customer service agents and in some regards, you know? So you need to come up with a plan for that. And then going back to the whole consulting and strategy piece, you also need to figure out like, what else do you want to do? Like, yeah, I want to be responsive and reactive, but you also want to be proactive and, you know, listen in on certain conversations, target certain influencers or markets, and get involved in that conversation, because that's a huge piece of it. Like, you can post all day long, but people aren't just going to come to you. Like, that's not how social media works. You need to really be reaching out to different people. And I don't mean spamming accounts or anything like that, but, you know, engaging with different accounts, liking things, getting in on Twitter chats, or like whatever it is. So just come up with that plan with them, and make sure that you're posting out as well, like that you're not just posting stuff for people to consume, but you're also responding to stuff and reacting to things and all that good stuff. So that's just a little bit of account management. I mean, that also includes like advertising. That's something that not every client will want to do and that not everybody knows how to do yet, but I do encourage you to learn at least like Facebook ads and Twitter ads and Instagram ads, because a lot of clients are going to want that, and it's really helpful to be able to say, hey, I can do it for you, as opposed to having to outsource it. I feel like I'm definitely missing things in account management, but that's kind of like the gist, like the 101 level of what account management is. It's a lot. It probably sounds like a lot because it is. Next thing is content creation. So this is something that a lot of people forget about as well, but we need to help clients come up with images to post, videos to post, you know, channel art, banner art, Facebook cover art, all of that kind of stuff is so important. Social media is not just like words anymore. I mean, that was nice back in the early days of Twitter when all you had to do was like post one-liners and you could get 1 million followers. But now you really have to be innovative, and you have to not only, I mean, pictures are like 101 level, but you know, pictures, you need to do videos, you need to do GIFs, you need to do just all kinds of different things, live streams. This all goes into content creation, and that looks different for every client. For me, I mean, some of my clients I actually get on video and do this for them, like some beauty brands and stuff, I'll like apply my makeup and everything for them. Some brands I'll be behind the scenes, I'll be filming somebody else, I'll be filming, you know, an event that they're having. Some people I will just be creating images for them. Like, it really varies on what your plan is. Again, this should all be outlined in like your roadmap and your scope of your project and your contract and all that. And I'm not ever gonna pretend like I am a substitute for a graphic designer or videographer or anything like that, because those people have very specific skills that they've spent years and years probably learning. I am lucky that I do have a film background. I do have a degree in film and video, so I do know how to do that stuff, but I know like design and everything is not like what I'm great at. But there are plenty of tools that help a social media manager kind of at least hone in on their skills a little bit and kind of fake it till they make it, I guess. Canva is a good one. PicMonkey is another good one. There's lots of tools out there. Somebody who I like to watch on here, I just discovered her like a week ago. If you're into these videos, you might like her channel. Her channel is called Jess Creatives, and she's a designer, and I follow her on Twitter, and I just saw she posted something today that was talking about how Canva is not a substitute for a graphic designer, and I absolutely agree with her. But you know, it is a good tool to use when you're kind of in a pinch, and if your client has a smaller budget and you can't afford to outsource. So obviously the ideal situation is for me to, you know, get a request in from them, be able to outsource it to an actual creative professional and get everything looking like 100%. But sometimes it's just not an option. Sometimes I just need to brighten up a photo really quick, resize something really quickly. You are the expert, so you know the ideal sizes for all these platforms. You know, a client doesn't always know that, so they might just send you like a quick cell phone picture, a square image, something like that. So yeah, being able to do all that stuff, create slideshows, like there's so many different things, types of content, and you know, you really have to be innovative nowadays in social media. It's not just about posting words or posting links anymore. And then the last thing, well, I mean, we do a million other things in between these 5 points, but this last critical point, in my opinion, is reporting and analytics. So this is again one of the reasons that I am choosing to try out SocialPilot, because they do have built-in analytics that look really good. Buffer kind of lacks in that area, actually really lacks in that area. Hootsuite, their reporting is okay, but it's expensive and I don't really like it. Reporting is really important. What I have been doing for my clients before is I just created a PDF with the metrics that I think are the most important to most any business, and just leave blanks for them. And I pull all those metrics like every Monday and send them out. And it's really tedious going into the analytics features of each platform one by one and all that stuff. So it's good to choose a tool that has built-in analytics so it makes your job a little bit easier. And then how often you choose to report on those analytics is really up to you and the client. So some clients like to hear from you every week, some clients like to hear from you every month. It's really up to you, and it depends on a number of things, you know, what the budget is, what the timeline is, what the length of the contract is. All of that will go into how often you report, but I personally like to touch base with my clients at least once a week. Now, whether or not that's like the full PDF report or not is a different story. It really depends, but I do like to at least touch base and say like, hey, here's how this campaign's going, that kind of thing. Honestly, some clients don't care. Some clients do not care to hear metrics and numbers and analytics. You know, my opinion as a business owner, I think they're super important and I would want to hear them. But if for nothing else, it's good to pull analytics so you know how you're doing. Because at the end of the day, the point of your job is to help them build their business and, you know, obviously increase revenue and sales and all that stuff and awareness. And so how are you ever gonna know how you're doing if you're not like pulling numbers and actually seeing for yourself how you're doing and what types of content is working, what kinds of, you know, hashtags are working, all of that kind of stuff. So it's good to pull analytics. My two best tips on analytics that I've heard recently on various podcasts. Number one, don't underestimate the power of the native analytics. So for Facebook, it's called Facebook Insights. Twitter is Twitter Analytics, I believe. Instagram is just Instagram Analytics. YouTube Analytics, that kind of stuff. Like whatever the platform analytics are. I know that I just said choose a tool that pulls them for you, and yes, you should. But I also recommend getting in and looking at the native analytics once in a while as well, because you know things can get lost. Like tools don't always communicate so well to each other, so you can lose posts, you know, tools can mess up. I've had analytics tools mess up a lot for me and give me like wacky numbers that are absolutely false. So looking at the native analytics are like the most reliable source. Also, building onto that, the second tip that I heard recently was pay attention to what those native analytics shows you, like when you first click into them. So like when you first click into Facebook Insights, what kind of information is it giving you? Because think about it, like why would the platform put it out there as the first page if they didn't think it was important? You know, if you want to kind of beat the algorithm of all these different social platforms, it's important to pay attention to what they're displaying on those first pages, because you would think logically that they're showing you the information that, you know, is really going to make the most impact on your channel or your account or whatever it is. That might not be true. That's kind of just a theory, but I do think that's important. They're putting like the most important information out there on those first pages. So make sure to get in there regularly and check out the native analytics. Just make sure that everything looks okay, and, you know, just to kind of get to know the native analytics features as well. All right, guys, so that is it for today's Freelance Friday episode. I know that I've been a little bit late with these. I have filmed a few different episodes and I just scrapped them because I really want this series to be helpful for you guys. I don't want it to just be like regurgitating random tips that I've heard on the internet. So I really want them to be unique and helpful. So if you guys have any suggestions on topics that you would like to know more about, I've already heard a ton of you guys want more YouTube advice and tips, so I definitely have those on the horizon. And then I also have a really fun, exciting episode that we'll be filming this weekend, hopefully, about love and business and entrepreneurship, so I'm excited to share that with you. But if you have any other topics, please leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to explore your suggestions. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. If this video was helpful, please give me a thumbs up. It does help me out a lot. You can also subscribe. A lot of people have been letting me know that my subscriptions are not making it into their sub feeds, which is not a surprise. So if that is the case, or if you want to be sure that you don't miss my videos, please click on the bell next to the subscribe button. That will help enable notifications whenever I do upload. I try to upload a few times a week. And I think that's all I have to say. I've been rambling on enough. So yeah, I appreciate you guys watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.